I probably could have just turned it off or left it in my bunk. But no, I left the phone dead, face down, at the rally point where I knew he'd be the first to check for updates. And yeah, the text never came through. That's why he got captured. Not because of me, because of how unreliable the comms were. But everyone's so quick to blame the girl, right? Name's Reagan, 31, retired early, but not in the way people brag about. And I'm not telling this because I feel bad. I'm telling it because I'm sick of everyone acting like I didn't know what I was doing. I just had my reasons. So, this was back in Helmand. Summer rotation. Dust hot enough to burn through your socks. Our squad was stretched thin, half of us pulling double duty. Barely any sleep. And the radios had a 2-minute delay if they worked at all. The unit morale was trash. Everyone was cranky, snapping at each other. And guess who they dumped most of the support tasks on? Me. Because apparently, having a uterus means you must love clerical work. I was seeing this guy in my team. Unofficially, of course. Let's call him Drew. Typical golden boy. Played college ball somewhere. Parents sent care packages with name brand jerky. Always had clean bootlaces. He was sweet at first. Said I was different. Said he liked how I wasn't like the other girls, which, by the way, is always a red flag. Anyway, Drew and I had this thing going. He'd swing by after patrols. Pretend he was just checking on gear. And next thing you know, he's got his arm around me, whispering stupid stuff about what we'll do when we get home. I wasn't stupid. I knew the type, but it felt nice, being someone's favorite for a change. Until I found out he was also sweet-talking this new chick who got attached to our squad as a fill-in from another fobby. You know, the type bright-eyed, all hooah about the mission. Acts like every safety brief is riveting. I saw the messages when Drew left his second phone, charging in the tent. He told her the same crap he told me. Called her sweet girl, and said she made the heat bearable. Please. I didn't confront him, not right away. That would have been obvious. Instead, I just waited. I needed him to feel like he still had me wrapped around his finger. I needed that leverage. And then the op came. Command gave us a short notice recon mission outside our usual patrol zone. Nothing high speed. Just overwatch and a drop point supply check. 2 teams. Drew's team moved out first. Mine was second. Trail team. He was supposed to wait at the rally point for confirmation that we made it through the east corridor. Clean. I knew the SATCOM was acting up. I knew the backup comms weren't being distributed evenly. So when the message came down from HQ, a simple redirection to avoid the northern washout, I got it on my secondary. We were supposed to text the relay phones to pass it to the forward team. I took my sweet time. And then, instead of using the working relay, I dropped my dead burner at the rally point. Full bars. Sure. Battery, 0. I positioned it where he'd see it. Propped against the empty water drum, like a beacon. I knew he'd check it. That was the point. He waited there, like an idiot, thinking someone would show, or the route was still good. We heard it crackle through the net later. His team got ambushed right on the bend near the washout. 2 guys made it out. Drew didn't. Captured? They spun up QRF, but by the time they moved, it was too late. No visual, no heat signature. Gone. I acted surprised. Obviously, put my hands over my face, whispered, "Oh my God," like I hadn't already imagined it. They called an emergency debrief, and I kept my voice calm. Said I had texted it through the relay, but maybe the signal didn't take. Blamed the terrain, blamed the solar flare alerts, blamed the chaos, and no one could prove otherwise. For a week, we didn't know if he was alive. Command scrambled. Locals fed lies, and our LT started cracking. I still remember her crying in the motor pool, saying she shouldn't have approved the route. And the girl, the sweet one, she played devastated, refused to eat, kept his nameplate tied to her wrist. Everyone started treating her like she was some war widow. Please. She knew him for 2 weeks. Eventually, they found him not in one piece. He'd been tortured, burned, face barely recognizable. His boots were still on. I remember that part clearly. Those damn clean laces. They held a ceremony on base. Flag, bugle, letters read out loud. I stood at the back. Didn't cry. Just watched. She got the folded flag. I didn't get so much as a mention. Weeks later, I got pulled into an investigation. Not because of the phone. They were looking into communication gaps and unexplained delays. Someone's report said I was slow to transmit. The relay phone was recovered. Battery empty. No data. I said I was overloaded. Said I thought someone else had passed it along. Standard stuff. Still, they hit me with the demotion. Said I failed to meet expectations during a critical phase. No one said sabotage. They just called it poor performance. I kept my mouth shut and nodded. Took the hit, moved to base logistics where no one could screw anything else up. I stayed quiet. Let people believe what they wanted. That I was distracted. That I was grieving. That I just messed up. I didn't correct it. But what no one asks is what he did to deserve my loyalty. Did he respect me? No. Did he even try to come clean? Not once. So why should I have gone out of my way to make sure he stayed safe? The way I see it. I gave him the same energy he gave me. Inconsistent. Unreliable. Disposable? Now. Sure. There were fallout consequences. My clearance got flagged. The next unit didn't want me. I got moved to a post nobody wants. Career stalled. But I was never going to be a general anyway. And people forget how fast your name fades once you're not in the mix. The girl, she did a TED Talk last year about grief and leadership and how to stay strong after combat loss. Got a book deal? Wears his tags on stage like she knew his soul. She probably thinks I should have been court-martialed. I see the posts sometimes. Never forget. Hearts and flags and filtered photos of them in uniform. They look so happy. Makes it easier for people to swallow. They never saw the side where he made fun of her behind her back, called her clingy, said she cried too easy. He used her same way he used me, but only one of us got blamed for his ending. I still have the dead phone. It's in a box with my other deployment junk. I take it out sometimes, not because I feel guilty, just to remind myself that no matter how it turned out, I wasn't the only one making bad calls. And maybe the real reason people are mad is because I didn't break. I didn't fall apart. I moved on. I still go out, still laugh, still live. They want women like me to crumble, to disappear, to apologize until we're nothing but regret. Sorry. Not happening. If he wanted to live, maybe he should have thought twice before trying to play both sides. I left a dead phone. He left his brain at the rally point. We all make choices. They moved me to a dusty little annex outside the main base. No windows. Busted AC. Smell of mildew soaked into every file cabinet. Supply inventory. Paperwork purgatory. The kind of job they give people they don't want to fire but don't trust anywhere important. I took it without complaint. What was I going to do? Stir up more drama? This place was off the grid. Figuratively and literally. The Wi-Fi cut out every hour. Printers jammed every other document. And if someone needed a signature, they had to hike across the gravel in 120-degree heat just to find my office. Which was fine. Fewer eyes. Fewer mouths. Less noise. For a while, I almost convinced myself it was peace. Then the emails started. Not anonymous this time. These came from an old squad mate. The one who cried during our first IED scare and never lived it down. Apparently, he was in touch with Drew's family. Said they had questions. Said someone told them I might know more about what went wrong that day. I ignored the first two. Then he sent a third. Subject line. They know. I called his bluff. Replied with one line. Tell them to file a FOIA request. He didn't respond after that. I figured he got the message. But then came the call from legal. They wanted to clarify some elements of my timeline. Said it was just a routine post-mission review. I've seen enough routine reviews to know when people are circling. I showed up early. Brought every scrap of paper they could possibly want. Smiled the whole time. The woman from legal looked like the kind of person who sends back her coffee if the foam is uneven. She kept asking about the phone. Where I left it. Who had access to it. Whether I attempted alternate communication methods. I kept my story airtight. Dead battery. Wrong time. Bad handoff. They let me go. But the tension lingered. After that, people started acting weird again. Not overt. Just quiet when I entered rooms. Side eyes. The occasional cleared throat when I walked past. Even the mail clerk avoided conversation. And I know for a fact he used to flirt with me before all this. I saw the TED Talk clip on someone's monitor. She was standing there in a perfectly pressed blazer, talking about sacrifice and leadership and how she learned to forgive the circumstances of Drew's death. Circumstances. That word hit me sideways. As if she knew, but wanted to sound noble about it. One night, I made the mistake of checking the comments. Someone had posted, there were rumors a girl in his squad left him hanging. Hope that wasn't true. She replied, just a heart emoji. Passive-aggressive saint. That's what she turned into. And I was the unnamed ghost in her origin story. I couldn't sleep for days after that. Started double-locking my room. Stopped going to the gym. Every time I heard boots in the hallway, I expected someone to say, it's over. You're done. But no one came. Instead, they kept me on base longer. Said I was being observed for future redeployment suitability. That's code for, we don't trust you but can't prove anything. I wasn't allowed to be. Every request I put in came back denied. One captain told me off the record, you got some stink on you. People are wary. Eventually, I started seeing a guy in the comms unit, total rebound type, mid-30s. High and tight, still lived like it was his first enlistment. He liked that I wasn't soft like the others. He had no idea. For a while, it worked. I stayed out of the spotlight. He brought me energy drinks and stories about his idiot squad mates. I told myself I could start over. Even started going to chapel on Sundays, just to be seen doing something wholesome, image control. But then he asked about Drew. He said one of his old NCOs served with Drew before the incident and said the story didn't add up. Asked me straight, "Were you the one who dropped the ball?" I laughed. Said, "That rumor still floating around? People will say anything to make themselves feel better." He didn't laugh back. He stopped coming around after that. A few weeks later, I got called back to HQ for readjustment orders. They wanted to send me to some field hospital in Qatar. Said it was a lateral move. It was a dump. Pure exile. That was the last straw. I submitted my separation paperwork that night. Called it a career. No ceremony. No fanfare. Just a quiet exit and an even quieter drive to a rental apartment outside Dallas where nobody knew me. I got a job as a vet tech receptionist. Didn't even have to lie about my past. Just left it off. Told them I used to work overseas logistics. Said I left for personal reasons. The manager nodded. Didn't care. It was okay for a bit, but then my name showed up in a podcast. Some true crime vet drama type. They didn't say it directly, but the host hinted at a female soldier whose mistake cost lives and never faced consequences. Drew's story. It was gaining traction. People were commenting. One girl messaged the clinic's Facebook page. "Do you know you hired a traitor?" That was it. They let me go. No apology. Just said they wanted to avoid negative attention. I haven't worked since my savings ran out fast. The VA assistance took too long. I pawned my laptop. Lived off canned soup and gas station coffee for a while. I thought about calling my mom, but she never liked the military stuff. Said I was always chasing validation. Now I just float. Couch to couch. A friend here, a favor there. I stay quiet. Don't tell people where I served. I go by Ray now. Easier. I still think about the phone. I wonder if things would have been different if I'd just sent the text like I was supposed to, or even faked concern better after. But deep down, I know this. If I had the chance to do it over, I wouldn't change it. Because for once, I had control. In a place where everything was chaos and dirt and orders from people who didn't care if you came home whole. I made a call. And I lived. He didn't. But that doesn't make me the villain. It makes me realistic. People think deployment is about honor and bravery. But mostly, it's people trying to survive while pretending they care more than they do. And I was done pretending. The worst part isn't what I did. It's that I never got to tell him why. Never got to watch the moment he realized he wasn't the golden boy anymore. That someone outplayed him? Now that moment's gone, and all I'm left with is the dead phone, the folded uniforms, and a name nobody says anymore except in whispers. But I still exist. And I remember everything, so let them keep telling their versions. This is mine.